Travel Guide. Smart way to fly.
السلام عليكم. ما شاء الله. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. I'm going to begin inshallah with a recitation from the Quran just to get into a better state of mind, a better state of heart. And then after the recitation inshallah we'll go quickly through the steps of Omrah just to make sure that we're ready. I know we're tired, I know we want to go home, so I promise I'll keep it very brief, only covering the necessities. And as we go together inshallah, we will cover more of the details later as we inshallah prepare for the Umrah more and more. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر إلى الذين بدلوا نعمة الله كفرا وأحلوا قومهم دار البوار جهنم يصلونها وبئس القرار وجعلوا لله أندادا ليضلوا عن سبيله قل تمتعوا فإن مصيركم إلى النار قل لعبادي الذين آمنوا يقيموا الصلاة وينفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلال الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم وسخر لكم الفلك لتجري في البحر بأمره وسخر لكم الأنهار وسخر لكم الشمس والقمر دائبين وسخر لكم الليل والنهار وآتاكم من كل ما سألتموه وارزقهم من الثمرات لعلهم يشكرون ربنا إنك تعلم ما نخفي وما نعلن وما يخفى على الله من شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء الحمد لله الذي وهب لي على الكبر الحمد لله الذي وهب لي على الكبر إسماعيل وإسحاق إن ربي لسميع الدعاء رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب اللهم آمين بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. It's an honor to be going with you to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says that those who come for Umrah, they are the guests of Allah. They were invited and they accepted, and they're called to request and to pray and to supplicate and to make dua, and their dua will be answered. That's a summary. Allah invited you, you're going, and Allah is inviting you to pray and to make dua, and it will be accepted if sincere. Just think about that. And I see many times when we go for Umrah, people who really come back transformed. And people come back as if nothing happened. Their bodies went, but their heart stayed. Their physical Umrah was done, but they were not present in mind and in heart. And in order for anything to be accepted, this needs to be present. إنما الأعمال بالنية. إنما الأعمال بالنيات. All actions are going to be judged based on the intention. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Taqwa hahuna hahuna hahuna." Taqwa is here, here, here. And إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. Allah is only going to accept from those who do something with taqwa. You need to have taqwa in order for anything to be done. Anything you do to be accepted, you need to have this taqwa. So the first thing that I want us to do is review our intention. You're not going there to do anything else but serve Allah and accept the call of Allah. That's number one. Number two, the Prophet ﷺ promises that Umrah can change and transform you. That's a promise. Umrah comes from Umar, Ya'mur, إِنَّمَا يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ till the end of the ayah. Umrah can give you life. Can give you life. You know, sometimes you're living but you feel dead, tired, exhausted. Umrah literally gives you life. Because what you're doing is you're going to the house of Allah to give it life. The house of Allah was a barren land in the middle of nowhere, the desert. And through Hajar's dua, and through Ibrahim and his story, this desert comes to life. And we go to answer the call of Ibrahim thousands of years later. And when we answer his call, we're answering his dua that he gave to Allah. And therefore, by giving life to the house of Allah, Allah gives us life. If your Umrah is done properly, let's be very, very clear from the beginning. If your Umrah is done properly, you want to know whether it was accepted or not? 3 criteria. Number 1, you will come back changed. You will come back excited, ready to do more, ready to do good. You will come back excited, ready to pray Fajr on time, ready to pray the prayers on time, ready to give more. You'll find your heart has changed. That's number 1. You're feeling different. Number 2, you will feel the barakah, the blessing, in 2 things. In your rizq, you will see that there's more barakah in your money, in your energy, in your health. Because the Prophet Muhammad said, al-Umrah, min al-Umrah, al-Umrah ila al-Umrah, what does it do? It increases the barakah in the rizq. Because you took 4,200, 5,000 from your own money per person, and you gave that to go to the house of Allah. Allah promises whatever you invest in Him, it comes back. Multiples. So your Umrah accepted, you will find that you're changed, you're ready to do good, more risk, barakah in your time, in your energy, in your health, in your wealth. And the third, more clarity. More clarity. You're able to see things in a different way. Reality is different. Like, subhanAllah, I used to say this is, acceptable. Now it's not acceptable. I don't want to do it. I want to leave this haram. I want to leave this gray. I used to deal with this kind of business. I don't want to do that anymore. It's become clear to me now. This is not what I want. I used to be in this relationship. I don't want to do it anymore. This is not what I want. I used to be in this interaction, in this context. It's not what I want. It's toxic. It's not good for my iman. I don't want it. It's not what I want. Clarity. Some people are confused. They can't see clearly. But Allah will give you that clarity. So you want to see whether your Umrah is accepted or not? Those three things. More readiness to do good. Before you used to wrestle with shaitan to do something small. Now it comes easier. You want to get up for fajr, you want to get up for qiyam. You will find energy, barakah in your health, wealth. Everything that Allah has given you, find barakah in it. And thirdly, clarity. And this is what Ibn al-Qayyim teaches. When his students came to him and asked him, give us, indication, how do we know whether Umrah was accepted? That's what he shared, and that's what I shared to you. Now, having said that, very quickly, what do we do in this Umrah? How do we do this properly? Number one, we're going to look at the slides here very quickly. First thing we mentioned already is we're going to do the niyyah, make the intention. How do we do this? لبيك اللهم بعمرة. Oh Allah, and answer your call to do Umrah. Or anything like that. فَيَسِّرْهَا لِي وَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي. You can even do it in English. Ya Allah, I'm here to answer your call to do Umrah, so accept it from me and make it easy for me. That's number one. Number two, what you do after that is you do the ightisal. In your hotel rooms, when you're in Medina, you will do a shower. And when you do that shower, you will apply a little bit of fragrance. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to apply a little bit of fragrance on his skin. Any oil, any good fragrance. Because once you put the ihram on, you can no longer do any more fragrances, no nail clipping, no cutting the hair, none of that. You've entered the state of ihram, so you apply some fragrance that is light for brothers, and some form of antiperspirant or whatnot for a sister, just to stay in a good state where you're able to go and perform the Umrah feeling comfortable. That's the second thing, that's the ightisal. Then what you do in your hotel room, once you've done the ightisal, the shower, you put on your ihram. The top and the bottom for the brothers, al-izar al-rida, and for the sisters, anything that you're wearing is considered to be ihram. Then in your hotel room, you can pray 2 rak'ahs. This is where you're getting into the zone. Allah Akbar. You recite from the Quran your favorite ayat. These are ayat that will get you to think about Mecca, ayat about Ibrahim, ayat about Ismail. Read those, try to memorize them before you go. You have some time. You can even hold, according to the Shafi'is. Hanafis have a difference of opinion, but the Shafi'is say that you can hold the Mus'haf and read from the Mus'haf if you're struggling to memorize. If you don't have it memorized, you can read from the Mus'haf, the ayat, in Arabic, English you can do outside. So get into the zone. And once you've done that, then, let's move Usama. What you're going to do after that is you start with the talbiyah. Now, listen to this carefully. Some of us, we do the Umrah mechanically. We do the ihram and then we say, لبيك اللهم لبيك, لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك. And we don't know what we're saying. The companions, Ibn Umar, Ibn Abbas, others, they did not do the talbiyah. They would stay quiet for a long time. Listen to this carefully. Imagine after putting the ihram, they would not speak to anybody. They would be walking the whole time silently. They would get on their horse or camel, like us getting on our bus, and they would just be in the zone. Everybody's doing talbiyah, but they're silent. And they asked them, why are you not doing talbiyah? Why are you not saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik? And they would say, because I want to say it having meant it. I want to say it heard your call and I'm coming to answer. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك. There is no partner, nobody on the equal level as you. إن الحمد, all gratitude and praise. والنعمة, all blessings. لك, belong to you. والملك, and the kingdom and the dominion. لا شريك لك. No one is worthy of that besides you. No one is worthy of my love, of my commitment, absolutely in that way, except you. That's a big statement to say. Can you seriously say that with your heart? Can you say that with your heart? Because when you say a statement like that, you're saying my children come second to Allah. My business comes second to Allah. My husband, my wife, my spouse, my school, everything else comes second. Nobody is on the equal footing besides Allah. How many of you can make that statement? The companions would struggle. They would wait hours, 7, 8 hours before they would do the talbiyah, because they're trying to cleanse, remove all other distractions. So when they would say it, it's said with meaning. And then they would do the talbiyah. And the Prophet Muhammad said, whoever makes that talbiyah loud for the brothers, comfortably for the sisters, without having to raise their voice, genuinely, all the rocks and the animals and every being that hears that talbiyah sincerely will respond back, may Allah accept from you. May Allah reward you. Can you imagine that angels will be making the dua if it's said sincerely? So don't make it mechanical. Get into the zone. One thing that I don't like, I'm telling you from now. One thing that I don't like is when we're on the bus from Mecca to Medina, from Medina to Mecca, or on the train or whatever else. People are just sitting there watching, talking about nonsense. My stock is doing very well, mashallah, World Cup. It's going to be like very close to the World Cup, right? The final will just be played. So everybody's going to be talking about, inshallah, it's going to be Argentina versus either France, Argentina, and then Portugal, Spain. Okay, you heard it from me, okay? Argentina, France, home bracket, Spain, Portugal. Don't be distracted by that. Alright, don't be distracted by anything. Focus on Allah. Once I got very upset. I was, with the Omrah group, and this guy was showing his friend. He's like, bro, this is the sister that I want to propose to. Bro. You're for Omrah, bro, you need to get married. Bro. Don't get distracted. You're in the house of Allah. You paid for this. Don't get distracted. Once a sister, she came with us for Umrah, and then she came after the Umrah was done. She tried to go touch the black stone. It was very difficult, but she managed. So she came and she's like, I'm going to wear my hijab from now on. I'm not going to deal with interest. I'm not going to do anything haram. I'm done with anything haram. Halal mode activated. So we asked her why. She's like, do you know how hard it was to touch the black stone? I don't want to have to go through that again. That's it. I'm done, khalas. I don't want to have to come back for Umrah. This was not easy. I don't want to have to do this again. That's it. I've asked Allah to forgive me. I hope it's accepted. Khalas. I'm going to go back and live halal life from now on. So that's what we want. We want to come back transformed. For some people, some of you here, some of your family members, some of your own countrymen, countrywomen, would have to spend years saving money to be able to afford this. It's a luxury. Now with airfare, with hotels, it's much easier for us, even in this part of the world. In Pakistan, Egypt, some people, especially Hajj, they have to go through a draw system. I know people that are in 60s, 70s, they put their name in the draw every year, hoping for a chance, and they didn't get it. So they write in their will, I hope that my son, or my grandson, or my great-grandson will get the opportunity. Please don't forget to make dua for me. They leave that in their will. This is not to be taken as a privilege. It's a big blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what happens? Finally, we get to Mecca. When we get to Mecca, we're going to go to our hotels, relax a bit, shower again. You can shower with your ihram. It's okay as long as you don't apply any deodorant, any odor, any fragrances. You don't clip, you don't cut, any of that. You're in a state where you're committed, dedicated. And then we come back, we meet, and now we're entering the house of Allah. We enter with our right hand, our right foot. We say Bismillah in the name of Allah. Allahumma salli ala Rasulillah. Wa salli wa sallim wa barik ala Rasulillah. You're invoking the salawat upon the Prophet because everything we know is from him. And then we make the dua, Allahumma aftah min abwab rahmatik. Oh Allah, open the doors of mercy. If you mean that sincerely, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has huwa al-fatih. He's the opener. He can open any door that's closed in your path. Mean everything you say. Understand everything you're verbalizing. You walk in, the companions used to walk towards the Kaaba, lowering their gaze. You know, you're not out on your phone selfie, Facebook Live, Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and my sisters from Canada, I'm here in the Kaaba, send me your dua requests, MashaAllah, tabarak. Get in the zone, bro, get in the zone. So you walk with your gaze lowered until you get to the Kaaba, and then you look up. And according to some of the scholars, you can make dua upon seeing the Kaaba. This is where Ibrahim was. This is where Ismail was. This is where the Prophet Muhammad was. This is where Bilal was whipped. This is where the Fath happened. This is where Bilal got up on top of the Kaaba to do the adhan. This is years of history, prophets and messengers. Idris was there. Musa was there. Nuh was there. Lut was there. You're sharing this space with all of these prophets and messengers who came to say Allahu Akbar. And that's what you're doing. Can you imagine You're touching sacred lands. You're in the house of Allah on this earth that is equivalent to the house of Allah above. Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, where there are angels doing tawaf. And you're moving to remember Allah, you're doing tasbih. You're moving around saying, Ya Allah, fix me, heal me, change me. I'm moving the same way the angels are, the same way that everything you created is moving. And as you're going, you give your left shoulder to the Kaaba, you give your right shoulder to outside, and the first 3 tawafs, you're going to do 7 in total. The first 3 tawafs, you expose your right as a brother. And the reason for that is this is a sunnah. And the story behind it is when the Prophet Muhammad did the first Omrah, it was at a time when the Muslims were persecuted. So they kept looking at the Muslims and making fun of them. Said, oh, these Muslims are weak. These Muslims are miskeen. So the Prophet Muhammad said, show your right shoulder to showcase your strength. And run with pace, like march, to show your strength. And so we do the same to remember that moment in the Prophet Muhammad's life where the Muslims were persecuted and they had to showcase that strength. And as we do that, we ask Allah to allow us as a community to regain our strength, our izzah and our honor. The first 3, expose and you march with purpose if you can. It's going to be busy, December, very busy. So you're not going to have the space to march. So at least, do some form of in your own space to remember that moment and read more upon it. And when we're there, we'll explain more of the context. Then you do the first 3. And then the last 4, you can cover. And every time you come to the black stone, you raise your hands to your shoulder with the black stone there and you say, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. And in between you make رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And any other dua, any other dhikr, any other istighfar, any other Quranic ayat that you know, as well as dua for yourself, for your family. And you focus the whole time, your focus is on the ground, your focus is on the fact that you're here in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you focus on the fact that you have been chosen for some reason that year to come to His house. Make dua, istighfar. And the whole time building up to it, you're preparing yourself. You've already messaged everybody that you know, forgive me if I've done anything. Pay your amanat, any loans, at least, reconcile so your heart is clean. Anybody that you've hurt or that has hurt you, clean. Because you want this to be not full of noise, not full of distraction. You want it to be as clear as possible, ready to receive. If a cup is full, you can't pour in it. And even if there's a little, imagine if you take the tea, the chai that we're having. Even if there's a little bit of chai, you put water, what's going to happen to that water? Is it going to be clear water? It's not going to be clear water. It's the same thing. Even if there's a little bit of dust in your heart, the minute you pour Quran and blessing, and it's going to be tainted. So you want to get to that clarity, you want to get 100% clarity as much as possible. As much as possible. So you spend the next 2 weeks going through your mind every couple of hours, what else could be distracting me? My eyes are distracting me, get rid of the things that distract. My ears, get rid of the noise. My tongue, on my back, my lap. Get rid of it. Clear your heart. And now when you're doing the 7, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, every time you see the black stone, you don't turn to the black stone, you continue and you just simply receive like this. So the flow is easier. That's what the Prophet and his companions used to do. And then after you're done the 7, what do? You go behind Maqam Ibrahim and you pray 2 rak'ahs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then when you finish those 2 rak'ahs, in the 2 rak'ahs you do Surah Al-Ikhlas in the first one, Surah Al-Kafirun in the first rak'ah, Surah Al-Ikhlas in the second rak'ah. There's a lot of history, those two surahs. Read the tafsir. You want some homework? Read, understand what Surah Al-Kafirun is, what is the context, why are we reading it, why Surah Al-Ikhlas, why are we reading it? And then you can go get a little bit of Zamzam. And when you drink Zamzam, you face the Qibla, and you raise your hand and any dua, Ma'u Zamzam, lima shuriba lah. The water of Zamzam will be able to answer whatever you drink it for. Through drinking Zamzam, Allah will answer any dua that you say as you're drinking Zamzam, if it's sincere. And one of the best du'as to make when the Prophet Muhammad was drinking Zamzam, what would he say? What's the dua? Sorry? I cannot hear you. Louder? Yeah. اللهم ارزقنا علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. In one of the narrations. Oh Allah, give me beneficial knowledge, blessed provisions that are pure, halal, wealth, and actions that are sincere and accepted. Knowledge will be giving you clarity and power. Rizq will help you contain and sustain. And accepted deeds, what else can you, that will sustain your journey to Jannah. Then after you do that, you go to Safa and Marwa. And we're going to start with Safa. Imagine Safa, where Hajar began with her baby. And she put that baby to the ground. Allah tested Ibrahim and her. What a test. Tested prophets immense. Allah is testing Ibrahim and his wife. Are you more attached to Allah than everything else, including your loved ones? It's a huge test. And they passed that test. And as Hajar was there, she knew that Allah is testing her, but she didn't just say, I'm going to sit down and wait for Allah to do His thing. She ran back and forth between Safa and Marwa, ran, until she was exhausted. When she was exhausted, she sat down. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the angel, and through that, Zamzam was born. And the name Zamzam means stop, Zamzam, stop. Because when Zamzam was born, there was so much pressure, so much water was erupting from the ground that she was afraid it would drown her baby. She's like, Zamzam, stop, take it easy, chill. Prophet Muhammad says, had Hajar not said Zamzam, it would not have been a well, it would have been a river. When Allah's barakah comes, imagine this, when the answer to your dua comes, you might be surprised by the intensity that you're going to say, okay. Can you imagine? Allah can give you so much money that I don't want any more. Allah can give you so much barakah, okay. At least in the moment, that it can be overwhelming. There's no limit to what Allah can do. Remember that lesson. And through the sacrifice of a woman, Hajar, an entire nation is born. Hajar is known as our mother, the mother of all Arabs. The mother of all of Mecca is Hajar. Because of that act. So when we go from Safa and Marwa, I want you to think about her sacrifice. As men, think about the sacrifice of our wives, our sisters, our mothers. And make dua for them. And as mothers, think about how Allah raised and honored you. And relate to the story of Hajar. Read up on it. of that when we get there. And we're going to go from Safa and Marwa back and forth 7 times. When we stop at Safa, we face the Kaaba and we make dua. We first recite the ayah, إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله فمن حج البيت أو اعتمر فلا جناح عليه أن يطوف بهما. And then you make dua facing the Qibla, any dua. And then after that, you go towards Marwa, you pace between the green lines. That's where that plain was between the 2 mountains. That's where Hajar herself ran. So if you're able to run. If you're able to pace. Assisted if you're with your family, you can stay with them, but on the ground. Back and forth 7 times, stopping at Safa Marwa to make as much dua as you can. The Prophet Muhammad would make dua for a long time, facing the Qibla. And when you're done, all of that, back and forth, you end up at Marwa, having done 7 times, and then you go to a place where you trim or shave completely. The ajr of shaving is much, much more, right? For sisters, it could be this much hair, but it has to be clipped by somebody who's not in a state of ihram, and do it in a place where your privacy is still maintained. And that is supposed to indicate a new beginning. You're a new person. You're starting a new chapter with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with that, your umrah is complete. Every time you go back to the house of Allah, you can do as many tawafs as you can. Keep doing that. Because you may not be able to go Umrah, it's not there every day, so you could do multiple Umrahs if you want. Difference in opinion, but it's acceptable for our context. You go to Miqat Aisha, so you exit the boundary, you make the intention, you come back, and you do it as many times as you're able to. But there's also more merit in doing tawafs, voluntary tawafs, in rounds of 7. When you come back, every time, how you come into the masjid, you do 2 rak'at tahiyyat al-masjid. Instead of tahiyyat al-masjid, you can do any 7 tawafs if you can. And in that you make dua that's equivalent to the same ajr as Umrah. And the dua is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the whole time that you're there. Drink lots of zamzam, keep making dua. Drink lots of zamzam, keep making dua. Give as much charity as you can. Take X amount of money divided by the number of days that you're there and give consistent. Often make your donations before you go. You're going to maximize the good that you're doing. And take time alone. Sit there in the house of Allah and raise your hand and make dua. In sujood, make dua. Elongate that time, because this is a big blessing and a big barakah. And with that, you're done Umrah. You come out of your ihram, you shower, and now you're going to, inshallah, feel, hopefully, like a new person. Along the whole journey, Allah will test you. There will be times where your patience is tested. There will be times where you may lose things, you may be delayed. The whole time, remember to have sabr. Sabr, and husnul dhan, good intention, good thoughts of others. Right? Many things might happen. Don't assume the worst, always assume the best. Give excuses. Think positively. And as long as you're in that positive mental state, inshallah, your umrah will be accepted, and inshallah, we'll all come back transformed. May Allah accept from all of us, Ya Rabbi. Ameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from all of us, to accept our Omrah, to allow us to come back transformed. Ya Rabbi, Ameen, Ameen. Jazakumullah khair for your attention. I'll pass it on inshallah to Brother Hassan Wali to continue the program. I look forward to being with all of you. May Allah bless you. I'm in the WhatsApp group. If you have any questions, you can post them there inshallah. And I'll be able to inshallah answer so that the rest of us can also benefit. Barakallahu feekum.